from an investment perspective, are we seeing rental income cover expenses?
We are, with an asterisk.
Okay.
Like anybody else looking for investments, a lot of times you call us and you say, I want cash flow and I want cash flow.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I want to elaborate a little bit because we got some time here, Justin. I really want to talk about when you get that call. I want to see $1,000 a month cash flow, and if I don't see $1,000 a month, it's not a good property.
Yeah.
I don't want to invest. How do you walk somebody through that?
It's pretty simple.
Okay.
I mean, the first thing I do is I sit down and I say, what are you actually trying to accomplish, right? And most of the times they're saying, I want to accomplish wealth. I want to, establish long-term wealth building so that I don't have to work anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, if you think you're going to buy, 4 cash flowing properties and quit your job and make $4,000 a month, it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
I'm not going to advise you to do it, especially in a hot market. It may work if you go to out east in Newfoundland, and I know there's some markets where there is some good cash flows.
But then you get different types of tenants in those areas, and you don't see the passive appreciation.
1,000%, and you're bang on. I mean, Jazzy Fizzle, you're the man when it comes to long term.
Right, buy and hold,
and understand, convincing people not to sell their properties, and
begging people not to sell, man.
I mean, you want to work with a real estate agent that doesn't want a transaction. You want to work with somebody that actually cares about you and doesn't care about the file. I've talked myself out of hundreds of deals that have turned into more because that trust is there. But going back to what I was saying, so if you want maximum cash flow, you're going to get maximum problems, right? If you get...
What do you mean by that? Explain that.
I've been pitched properties. There was one 20 unit that basically said, it's 750 grand, cash flow is a couple grand a month. It's amazing. I walked through it. Disaster of a property. I mean, your vacancy rate's probably 35% because non-payment, right? You're dealing with tenants that aren't going to be able to pay you in the long run. You're going to be up on the phone all night. Your property manager is going to quit. Now we're at the headaches. I've sold properties that were negative cash flow, that were opportunities to my people to flip units, get rents up. They made 200 grand on those, right? So, what you're looking at when you're just running numbers on the MLS doesn't really mean a whole lot. Chances are the information's not accurate. It's potential rents, which means even less than what I just said.
Yeah.
But the people that you're working with, like this guy or our team, will be able to tell you where that property is going to go. Because it doesn't matter where it is today. It doesn't matter what the cap rate is right now. It matters the risk that you're taking buying it, what the upside is, and are you protected from a cash flow perspective if the market tanks.
Right.
And that's where we do sell properties that are cash flow positive or break even, so that if the market were to crash, you can still carry that property without taking money out of your wallet, right?
That's why I don't think it's a big deal when properties come to my desk that are breaking even. It really excites me because as long as I'm not putting anything in out of my pocket, I'm getting the other massive ways of winning in real estate, which is the passive appreciation and the mortgage pay down. And I love the mortgage pay down aspect of it because it's black and white. There's no forecasting and or speculating around it. It's an amortization schedule. Anyone can Google it and figure out how much of my principal is going to be paid down. I just can't, if I could get people to understand that it's not all about cash flow.
Yeah.
And I know you feel the same way. It's about creating wealth long term.
I think the problem, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Not at all.
The problem we're dealing with right now is there's a lot of people in the game that have learned this very quickly, and it's very popular to become Insta famous or jump on YouTube and talk about this stuff like you know it. I see people running seminars that people go to, and it's great for networking. It's always good to be involved in that kind of stuff. But who are you actually taking advice from? Are you taking advice from people that have seen it done before, long tail? Or is it just the people that are trying to fake it till they make it and then re-up that to some other income stream or sell you a course when they haven't actually done it themselves, right?
I love my barber.
Yeah.
He gives me some crazy fades. You can't see it today, but he gives me some wicked haircuts. But I'm not gonna allow him to talk to me about my real estate, right? Or I'm not gonna allow him to talk to me about my physical health because he's not necessarily the healthiest person, right? It's you hear it all the time. My Uncle Joe bought a property in 1972 and he lost money in real estate. Yeah, but he did it on his own, or he didn't have the education, right? So getting the education. Where do you advise people to get started? How? Is it sitting down with us? Is there something else that you say?
You know what? You can go out there and you can source information.
Right.
Just, like I said, my narrative that I'm trying to tell people is, do your own research and actually talk to people before you start signing checks and writing stuff. We've all heard the Bernie Madoff schemes that are out there, and we've seen the shills out there pitching stuff, and the market's really good right now. The market's not always going to be good. So, talk to people that are going to talk to you honestly, like Jazz saying, buy and hold, buy and flip and refinance and leverage other people's money. There are strategies that you can use if you know the complexities of them, but be aware of the markets you're going into. Talk to people who have done it and learn from their mistakes. I mean, that's kind of the first entry level. Don't get stuck in your level of expectation too. If you heard somebody say, I need $1,000 a month cash flow, I need the 1% rule. These are things that you'll hear when you start getting into real estate investing. Don't anchor yourself to that. I mean, we're doing a deal right now on a 6-plex. That's a dynamite deal. We'll refi and probably make them $250,000. And the initial analysis we looked at it was from another course.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's great. Like the stats and everything they're using is super comprehensive. That does not apply to this property because
Got it.
from the appraisal value that we got off market. So I knew that there was a transaction 2 doors down of another property that had just appraised and sold that would lift this value $250,000. That's not information that you can just get from CMHC. It's not information that you can just go and source, but we have checks and balances in place to say, here's how this all looks. We'll do the deal. If we see something we don't like, we'll be just as quick to kill it as we are to sell it. So I think that's another indicator when you're talking to somebody about, well, what if something goes wrong? If they don't have an answer for you, your radar should definitely go up. And don't be afraid to reach out personally to people like Jazz and myself, even if you're working with other people. I mean, the amount of time I've given advice to people working with other agents, I'm happy to do it because I know it's going to get reciprocated down the line. Right?
I tell people all the time, clients, if you're looking at a deal in Timbuktu, Saskatchewan, which I don't even know if it exists in Saskatchewan or not, but I just kind of pick on Saskatchewan in that sense, and I say, you need another set of eyes on a deal, just send it over to us. And it's like getting that second opinion from a doctor.